So we felt that that was a very good value, and as a result of that, we proceeded on with getting the engineer involved to design the site work to accommodate the building, which is an extension of the 4 individual units we have now. I think you've seen the plan that shows where they go, where it goes. And the engineering cost us very little because it was really already an engagement we had for the 4 individual units, and we always contemplated we'd have 4 more units required to expand and grow. So we then engaged our contractor to go out and take competitive bids with subcontractors. So he went out and did the competitive bid process, came back to us. We have his firm quote. The engineer's plans have gone to the city. We have the building permit in hand now, which was always a problem last year, getting a building permit so we could proceed with construction. So we got the permit, we got the pricing in. The pricing, as Bruce said, is about $190,000. That includes the contractor's price, moving the units in place, all the foundation work for it, the various walkways connecting the mechanical, the electrical, and so forth. So it's pretty much a turnkey job. That's about, let's say, I think the 4 units we put in place last year, for this year, cost us about $260,000. This is about $190,000, so about $70,000 less cost. Now it's a used unit, whereas the units we have in place are new. Also, a lot of the underground utility work was done to accommodate this expansion, so we just basically have to plug into that or tap into that without incurring that additional cost. So we think we've got a good value. We think we've got the timing down right. The only thing we're lacking is the financial support to make it happen. And Bruce will give you more details on that because we're part of the way there. Another important thing to remember is it's vital that we have these classrooms in place so we can start our next academic year. We believe that the program here is going to continue to grow. We're going to need these classrooms to accommodate the growth. This growth is necessary to provide the revenue, the revenue to sustain this growth, because we rely on the tuition revenue as our primary source of income. We don't have, unfortunately, as we had at Trinity Episcopal School, we don't have a Hugh McCall and Bank America standing behind us. Hugh McCall and Bank America gave about $1 million to support Trinity. The Ruddock Corporation came up with about $500,000 to support Trinity. So we had some very heavyweight donors, but I think the reason we had that was because it's an urban school, and a lot of those businesses that are occupying space in downtown or uptown Charlotte saw the benefit of having a good faith-based school close to where people work. Unfortunately, we don't have quite that same match here. And think about the possibility of starting a school when we did, and then within a short period of time faced with one of the worst economic downturns you could hope for or experience, not hope for, but experience in our lifetime. And yet, in spite of that, we have a very viable, competent, high-achieving organization right here. Probably the best thing we ever did was to recruit Karen to come in here and provide the leadership for this program. So I really would hope you would join me in applauding Karen. Timing is important. We'd like to start this construction on site at the end of April. I think middle of April would be better because we're probably going to be faced with a little bit of price escalation in mid-April if we're not able to commit. Such things as a rising cost of asphalt, which is petroleum-based, function of oil. Copper is another factor with some of the copper conduit conductors we have to put in place. So we really would like to we'd like to start middle of April, the latest probably the end of April, so we can get the buildings in place. We're going to have to do a little bit of renovation inside the buildings, make sure we've got a lot of the new materials, some new carpeting, hopefully some modifications to the interiors, some of the appurtenances that are necessary, some of the fixtures and furnishings. So even after we finish the installation, which should be a 2-month job, if we take May and June, by the end of June we should have the units pretty much complete, ready to put in furnishings, ready to do a last-minute installation of some of the appurtenances. So that's where we are. That's a little bit of a timeline. And with that, I'll just give it back to Bruce.
Great. So that's phase 1. That's coming up here. It's an immediate need that we have. On to some more fun things. About a couple months ago, we met with pt3 Bank, who has purchased some of the Palisades land out of bankruptcy. And they asked Karen and I a question, what can they do to help the school? They saw the school was very important to this community. And we asked them a couple things, and one of them was for land, and the other was for that land to be donated to us. They didn't buy that second piece of it. But the first piece was, it's very important, that they, and we're not done with that second question.
No.
But the first request for some additional land, they came through with, and about a month ago, they came to us with 7.8 acres. That's really attached. I don't think it's what's around right now.
It's that way.
This
Out
way.
behind the modular units, that way, all the way back.
And it's very flat land. A lot of it's cleared already, actually. Could be used for fields, playground too, Taj Mahal, and gardens. So this could be, from a fundraising standpoint, I can see a lot of ways to do this. We met with some parents here recently and generated some very good ideas about fundraising and some fun projects. And Jordan had some great ideas, and those will probably roll out once we get through raising money for phase 1. So we're probably looking at a May timetable for that. But its financial needs about $80,000. That's give or take. That's to get the land, and there'll be some to obviously get a field ready. But that's right here, and we feel this is extremely important because if that land is gone, we just can't get it back. So that's a project. And now the good thing we have going for us is the bank is in no hurry. Not a lot of buyers out here right now, so they're in no huge hurry to get this transaction done. Although they would like it done sometime at the end of this year. So that's kind of our timetable, and that gives us a breather after getting these learning bills done.
And Ellen Mason is here. Thank you, Ellen, for helping us make that connection as well.
All right, phase 3 is our largest project by far. We're looking at 2014 new facility, and that facility, I think, let me talk a little bit about. In the past, we talked about a new building to some of the parents about in 2012. And we were looking at 2012 for a new facility of this magnitude, actually this building.
This one.
Earlier, or late last year, we engaged a consulting firm to come in and do a feasibility study on whether that's practical at this point in time. And they really told us quite a few things, but the main points were the economic conditions right now are just extremely difficult for us to have to raise $3.5 million. It's just, they didn't feel like that was there. And also that Palisades needs to spend some more time and get our message out to the community and build those fundraising routes. And so we're going to need some time to do that. And that's one of the things we'll all be doing. So this is a 2014, and I don't know if Charlie, you want to talk a little about what's included in this building, or no? Okay. It's 2 levels.
It's 8 classrooms.
Yeah, 8 classrooms.
Arts and Science Lab, administrative offices, multi-purpose room with a connected kitchen, and it is, as you can see, 2 levels. And we have a little hill. And then you can see here we have the lower level down here with the classrooms. We have our lobby, multi-purpose, and then these gray areas here and here would be future build out, our future gym, our media center, whatever that looks like. We know that media centers are looking very different nowadays due to the technology. Support areas, and oh, it's so beautiful, so beautiful.
Something like this gives us a real good opportunity for donations, to get naming rights for folks, and so and as well as the athletic fields as well. I'm sure that we can find some folks that would like to do that. So we need your help now. This is really what this is about. We need your help in 3 different ways: donations for these projects, volunteer time, and to spread the word. I'm going to kind of combine the volunteering your time and spreading the word. We're looking for people that folks that you may know that would be interested in, and now that you've seen the 3 different projects, kind of folks that you would know that would be interested in learning more about it and potentially donating to our facility. And you know, Karen and I are here, the rest of the board, to actually work with you if you can identify some folks and work with you to kind of bring them along and see if they're interested. So we're very interested basically in getting your Rolodexes to build those relationships throughout the community. Finally, the donation piece. The board, at this point, the first project is $190,000. It's the one that was critical for August. The board, at this point, we've raised $80,000. And basically, that money has been raised from the board members and some ex-board members, some old board members. So,
Hey, Bruce, I'd forgotten to mention this earlier, but part of that 80,000, Bill Neal
yes.
Was a founding member of the board. His wife Eleanor was out here for 3 years teaching music. We didn't know at the time. He knew that he was in internal circumstances, but he made a major gift in her honor that made the first set of buildings possible. And we still have some of those funds. So I apologize. I meant to mention that before.
Thank you.
We do want to remember Bill and that last memory he made in terms of that significant gift to all of us.
Yeah, and really the bulk of that $80,000 is brought to us by the board members and previous board members that their connection here, their children aren't going to this school. Their grandchildren are not going to school. They want to help, and they help at the time and financially. And what we can close this gap, this up to $190,000. We can borrow some additional money. We don't want to do too much of that though, because we're really would like to pay off some debt. And then we'd like to close the gap of about $70,000. And we're really looking to the parents of the students to do that. And if we take student population and break it down to a per student basis, it's about $500 per student. And what we're asking of this group is to donate between now and April 30th on an average $500 per student. Now, some, I understand this isn't budget for. Some folks can do some of that, not all of it. Others can do more, and so really we're putting out an ask for that on average. That will get us to our target and get these learning days done. So we would certainly appreciate your assistance in that, and any help, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yay! It's an exciting time for all of us, but especially for your children and for their children, who we hope will be attending Palisades Episcopal School in this new facility. It's really important that we prayerfully think about our donations to this, and we ask you to leave tonight or write a check. But at this point, we'd like to open it up to questions that you may have. And all the board members are, aside from Charlie, are up back. But if you would come up so that we can all help to answer any questions that our families might have about the future of PES. Anything? Well, I'm gonna throw some out that I had. Oh, this one.